Hi guys! In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about how to construct a plot. And yes, I'm going to be wearing these glasses because they make me look so much more, professional and writery. So yeah, if you want to stick around to figure out how to construct a plot and the tips that I have to share on the matter, then stick around and watch. Before I start talking about how to go around and construct a plot, let me just say what a plot is. A plot is the different events in a story that revolves around the characters in that story trying to solve a problem. For the sake of this vlog, I'm just gonna come up with a random idea. Rhonda is a girl who's been adopted, and when she finds out that she had been taken in by a foster family, she decides that she wants to find out who her real parents are. So she goes in search of them. That is the problem. That's the central problem, and that's what the story is going to revolve around. We have a plot. Why should you plot a plot? Or technically, why should you plot? Several advantages to having a story outline or a plotted plot beforehand, before you start writing the story. There's one main one. It gives you direction. You know what you're going to do with the story. You'll be writing it and you have a roadmap or an outline that you can refer to know what's going to happen next in the story, so you won't have to just spontaneously come up with it. Another advantage is that you have less editing to do later, because there's a chance of having less plot holes or mistakes in the story. Advantage number 3 is that it helps fight writer's block. Now, anyone who reads knows that there are 3 different parts to a story: the beginning, the middle, and the end. Now, when you are constructing a plot, you need to think a little deeper than that. As a writer, there are 5 different parts that you need to consider when you are making a plot outline. The first part is the exposition. The exposition is the beginning of the story, where you give the reader details about the character and the character's background and the setting of the story, so that the reader does not get lost when they continue reading the story. It's pretty much like kind of giving them an easy transition into the world and its characters of the story, so that they don't get confused later. Always try to make the exposition as short as you possibly can. The longer it is, the more bored the reader will get. You do not want it to be like 5 or 10 chapters. Just make it short and precise so that you can get moving on to the next part of the story. In the story idea that I came up with before, it would possibly be the first chapter where Rhonda gets told by her parents, her foster parents, that she is adopted, and we identify the problem in the story where she suddenly says, okay, I want to find out who my real parents are. Boom, that's it. That's the exposition in that story. Giving details about Rhonda's past, about the fact that she's been taken in as a foster child, and that now she wants to find out who her real parents are. Now, the rising action is the second part of the plot that you construct. It is the most central part of the plot because it's where you have to form a sequence of events that gets your character closer and closer to solving the problem. For Rhonda's case, it could be that she's been given the address of maybe a relative of hers by her parents. So sequence A to B would be her going on that road trip to find that relative. B could be being told by the relative that her parents are no longer alive, or something really juicy to keep the action of the story going. So it's basically where you need to construct a kind of like chain of the different events in the story that will get the character closer to solving the problem. You need to ask yourself the question, what are the different events that needs to happen to get there? And when you answer that question, you get yourself the rising action sequence. Another part that you need to consider in the rising action is any kind of build-ups of emotional turmoil or obstacles that prevent the character from getting there. So in Rhonda's case, maybe it could be that she gets lost during the road trip and maybe makes an unexpected friend, or maybe she finds out that her parents are dead, or something that adds some kind of emotional or physical obstacle to her getting to that goal. So that is also something that you can consider when you are constructing the rising action part of your plot. Now, the next part of the story is the best part of the story. It is the part that the reader is going to be the most excited to read, and the part that you have to take a lot of care into writing. So far, this is what your story has been. Exposition, rising action, and then where you are now, it's the peak. It's the peak of the story called the climax. The climax is the part of the story where you have to decide whether your character is going to achieve their goals or not. It is the turning point of the plot, and where all these major questions that have been rising up so far are going to be answered. And the question you need to ask when you're planning this is, what are the consequences? If my character does this, what are the consequences? So it is a part that involves some major thought, and a lot of character development also happens here. In Rhonda's story, this could be where she finds out something that pretty much tells her that she has to choose between her foster family and finding out the rest of the truth about her parents. So she has to make this major decision that's going to affect the rest of the story. It's the turning point. You do really need to plan that really carefully. The next part of the story is the falling action. If you know what the ending of your story is going to be, it's going to be relatively easy to plan out the falling action. It's basically when you slope downwards and towards the end, this is the end, all the events that will help bring the story to a close. And I would say that in Rhonda's case, it is her reflecting on her decision of whether or not she should meet her real parents or go back to her foster family, and events that help her reflect on whether or not she achieved her goal. Those are the things you need to plan. Pretty much any events that will help slow the story down to the final conclusion. The final part of the plot is the resolution. The resolution is the part of the story where you decide whether your character is going to get a happy or sad ending, or a mix of both. Now, the mix of both thing is where your character achieves their goal, but they are not happy with whatever results they had in the end. For example, if Rhonda goes and finds out who her parents are but isn't happy with who they are, or gets really sad news. And the other alternative is if your character doesn't achieve their goal but they're happy that they didn't, or they're just happy with what they already have. For example, if Rhonda goes back to her foster family and is okay with the fact that she doesn't know who her real parents are because she has an amazing family who loves and cares about her. Those are the different endings you can get. Happy, sad, not achieved but happy, and achieved but unhappy. And any major questions that you had made or formed throughout the story also have to be answered by the ending of the plot. You have to make sure you don't leave any extra questions just hanging about for the there's so much traffic outside, but for the reader to be left like pondering about when the story ends. So always make sure that you get all those questions answered. And that's basically it. You will have an outline, you have the whole plot discovered. And not everyone has to plan it out in so much detail or plan the exposition out, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution, but that's what I do. So you guys can also do that. Final tips for you guys to have. Number one is that you should definitely not plan it in don't make it too detailed. Don't make the plot too detailed because it takes the fun out of actually writing the story. Number two is that you should leave room for unforeseen developments. If you get an idea when you're writing the story that you didn't have when you were plotting it, it should be fine. Just try to use that idea without having to worry about the fact that you have to change and redo your whole plot. So leave some room for spontaneous ideas that you might get when you're writing the story. And third, just have fun. If you don't want to plot, don't plot. Have a basic idea of what the plot should be like in your idea when you're writing it. What's important is that you have fun. And if some people don't want to plot or prefer not to plot when they write their stories, that should be fine too. So yeah, I hope you guys had fun watching this video and that I gave some really good tips. I do admit that the whole exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution thing is something that I learned when I was in middle school in language arts. So it is something that you can easily see in a textbook and apply to your stories. But I do hope that I shed some light with giving the whole Rhonda deal and everything that I helped. If you have any requests for writing topics that I should discuss in my next video, comment and let me know. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Next week, I shall be talking about characters and dialogue. So I'll see you guys then. Bye!